This edition of MacVoices is sponsored by Casper, a better mattress for a better night's sleep. To find out more, try one for 100 days and get a $50 discount. Visit casper.com/MacVoices. Welcome to the Mac Jury on MacVoices. This is a talk of the Mac community. I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, this is the MacJury's Holiday Gift Guide number 3. We've had 2 panels so far that have come up with some really unique, interesting, and diverse gifts. We're going to see if panel number 3 can measure up. I'm not too worried about it, if you want to know the truth. So for those of you who maybe that missed the first 2, the format is that we go around the room, everybody gets 1 gift pick per round, and then we encourage you to spend your money. And inevitably, these shows cost me money. So I feel your pain. So let's go around the room and find out who's here for panel number 3. On my screen, from left to right, as I'm starting to do now because it helps me stay organized. First up, Mr. John F. Braun. John, it's great to see you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Chuck. And this is my first video show with you. So
really?
Thanks so much. And you, yes, I've done MacJury in the past, but I've never done video with you. And fortunately, I shaved today and using one of our fine sponsors' products. And I have a wonderful webcam here. Maybe I'll mention that as a gift. But thanks for having me on here. Do I talk about what I do?
Sure. Yeah. What do you do, John?
Well, what I do is Mac Geek Gab. Mac Observer's Mac Geek Gab. We've been running for almost a decade now, and it's just a really fun show. And we help solve people's problems. And you can find us at MacGeekGab.com.
Great. I've listened every show, and I always learn something.
Thank you.
I always learn something. So that's Mr. John F. Braun. Next up, he's alone right now. He may have a guest joining him, Mr. Mark Fuccio. Mark, it's great to have you back. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Chuck. It's good to be here. And for your listeners, if they hear anything, I'm here with dogs, and it's raining outside, and they haven't had their end of day walk, so they're a little pent up energy. So you may hear some activities, or I may have a dog come bounding into my lap.
That's not a problem. For the folks that don't know you, Mark, what's your claim to fame?
Oh, I probably have several claims to fame. I seem to be a regular guest on your shows to talk about business and market and business activities. I'm a consultant here in Silicon Valley. I have a high-tech practice working with startups and helping them target and enter markets. I have 3 storage startups at the moment and an internet imaging company. So I have plenty of interesting stories to tell about some of the inside of how companies work and operate here in Silicon Valley.
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here and sharing a little holiday cheer.
Thanks for the invitation.
And of course, absolutely last but not least. Wow, I've done too many of these guys. It's not working. Mr. Michael E. Cohen. Michael,
least but not last, or
at least something like that.
I am Michael Cohen. These days, I write occasionally for Tidbits. I write Take Control books. I've been living at the intersection of technology and the humanities for 30 years, something like that.
That's a pretty good address, actually, I think. So, well, it's good to have you. Thank you for being here, and sorry about the blown introduction. It must be the eggnog. That's my excuse. So for the folks that that don't know, we're going to go around, pick some holiday gifts. Hopefully, we'll help you all get some ideas for things you'd like to give or get, and inevitably, do the same for ourselves. John, you get first pick. What is your first pick for the first round?
Excellent. I'm going to give you something that I just ran into and got a sample that I'm playing with right now. But this is a product for so batteries. Having external batteries or batteries to help your device when it runs out of power is a wonderful thing. And there are so many batteries out there, but I think this one is rather unique because, see, a lot of batteries, the problem is you need electricity to charge them. And, what if you don't have electricity handy to charge your battery? How else could you charge a battery? And these guys thought of something very clever. And the name of the product is the, hold on, let me get my page up here. So it is the Waka Waka Power Plus. Nothing to do with Fozzie Bear, and yes, they get that joke all the time, but the name of the company is Waka Waka. Share the sun is their motto there. And this is a device, so it's called the Waka Waka Power Plus. It's $79. It will fully charge after 12 hours in the sun, can completely charge an iPhone in about 2 hours. It also has an LED flashlight, which will give you brightness from 5 to 75 lumens, and I can tell you that 75 lumens from these LEDs is rather blinding. It also, when you press the button on it, will give you an SOS emergency beacon. So this is particularly good if you happen to be traveling. So not only can you power it from the sun, but if you're in a pile of whatever, it'll send out an SOS using the very bright LEDs. And I thought it was just a very, very clever product. So it's not specific to the Mac. It'll charge any device, that takes, has a USB cable. But I think it's a really neat combination of features, and solar is really big right now. So that's what I got.
John, how large is the solar array that this is? I mean, is it one of those things that you unfold, or is it just a little battery size?
No, and I'm trying to remember, because I think I remember, Chuck, that there was a product that was kind of like a flower petal or something like that. No, it's actually, I would say it's about maybe a little larger than a deck of cards. And the solar panel is on one side of it, and then the LEDs are on the other side of it, and it actually opens up. You can tilt it to get the best angle to capture the sun with it. So it's not very large or very heavy at all. And again, I'm still working on it. The thing is, getting depending on where you are, getting 12 hours of sun may be somewhat difficult. I'm still working on getting it up to a full charge, because where I have it, I only get a couple hours of sun, and I'm not moving it around throughout the day. Maybe I'll put it outside. Wouldn't that be a great idea?
Yes.
So, but a device that you could also charge it, I believe, off of regular, a wall charger if you want to as well. But having the solar as a backup, I think, is pretty powerful, and it's a dandy flashlight as well.
Very nice. Very nice. Interesting pick. We've had some batteries in the first couple panels, but nothing solar charged. So good deal. Mark, what do you got for us?
Very interesting. I also have some ideas of portability and batteries. And I have sort of two ideas. One's a real product, and one is attempting to become one. The real product is a portable battery power supply, where basically you can charge it up and then it will deliver 110 volts AC. I learned about it by a photographer, and I borrowed one and I experimented with it for a little bit, and I was able to get about 5.5, 6 hours of it running a Drobo Mini. And the fellow who recommended it says he gets about 3 to 4 hours running a Drobo Mini and his MacBook Air, because he's a wedding photographer. So he uses out in the field, and it's a great way to have portable power. And it's small, it's lightweight, weighs a couple pounds. It's about maybe 8 inches by 8 inches, and about 3 or 4 inches tall. So it doesn't take up a lot of space. And it's made by a company called Paul C. Buff. You search for Paul C. Buff, and the product name is called their Vagabond Mini. It's a lithium battery. It sells for a little under $250, and it's a great idea. The other thing that I'd recommend is a thing called the USB belt. And this is an Indiegogo project. They're maybe about halfway or so through their funding. And it's made by a company called Nifty, which maybe folks remember. A couple years ago, they had a Kickstarter project where they had a little device that you plug into the memory slot on your MacBook Air or Retina, and Retina MacBook Pro. and you could plug a camera memory card into it. So it's an easy way to get an expansion of additional storage. It's an Indiegogo project. It doesn't exist. They're looking for funding, but some of your listeners might think it's something interesting. It's a belt. They come in a variety of sizes. It has some sort of a ceramic battery pack in it, and it has a little cable in the front, and you can charge an iPhone with that. The picture they show is you can discreetly charge from that into a phone in your pocket. So that's another way to address some of the portable power needs that people have.
So this is like the actual belt you would wear with a pair of pants?
That's right. That's sort of their idea, is instead of having to carry something else around, we all wear a belt, so maybe, or maybe, and it's sort of a normal belt, and it comes in a normal range of sizes, and has a battery pack in it.
And I want to make sure that I understand on the was
Paul C. Buff,
excuse me. This has AC outlets. This is not necessarily a USB, or do I have that wrong?
No, it has 110, is a dual 110 AC output.
Wow.
So you can plug in a power supply for a MacBook or something. You charge a phone off of that, obviously. It's a great way. Originally, what it was designed for is photographers' lights, and it has I don't know, maybe I forget the specs, 1,000 or 1,200 watt hour sort of rating. And for low power devices like a MacBook or something that draws 40 or 50 watts, you can get 4, 5, 6 hours of use out of it.
Wow, very nice. Yeah, I didn't see either one of those two coming. Good choices. Good choices. Yeah, Michael, can you top a power belt?
Probably not, but actually what I'm going to offer is something that's remarkably analog and requires no power at all. And it's one of my favorite things. I've used one of these for a few years, and this may be the last chance to get one. It's from a company called Levenger, which is in Florida, and it's a place that sells all sorts of nifty tools for writers and readers. And this particular thing is called the TiePad pillow. It's a sort of triangular pillow with a flap on it. It's a lap pillow, basically, that you put your iPad in. It just props it up so you can read with it. Or you can lie down in bed and prop your iPad up on it and read there, or watch TV on it, which I do almost every night. And it's $30. It's been a regular item of theirs for years, but I notice now it's in their outlet section, so it's going fast. It's about $30. And it does one trick and does it well. It just props up your iPad and it's comfortable. And it's just a delight to have.
That sounds perfect. It's one of those low-tech things. I mean, it's crazy as it sounds. We've talked about iPad and iPhone stands here. I never even thought of something as simple as a pillow constructed right.
Yeah, it's a lap pillow. They actually have several different types of pillows there. This was one of the first they had, and I got one a few years ago, and I've given it as a gift several times since, because it's a great gift to give, and it's easy, it's fun, it's useful.
Yeah,
it doesn't go unused at all.
Yeah, well, not terribly expensive, and you don't have to worry about it falling over and your iPad crashing or anything, or busting up. So that's good.
No tech support required.
That's good. That's good.
I hope not.
Well, let's see. I'm going to reach into my bag of goodies here, and I'm going to pull out my favorite Bluetooth earpiece. Now, I know there are people out there that say, Bluetooth earpieces are silly and they're geeky and all that. But I would submit to you that maybe they are, but until we get a better option, or the implants in our head, I still think this is a great option, especially for driving. If at no other time, my routine has become get in the car, put the seatbelt on, put the earpiece in, put my iPhone 6 in its holder, and take off. That's just, it happens every time I get in the car, because then I can take calls, I can receive calls, I can call up Siri and send myself reminders. I can do all those things. I never need to get near my iPhone if I don't want to. But this, I want to warn you, this is the Jawbone era, okay? It's about $68 on Amazon. This is the one you want. Don't get the newer Jawbone. I believe it's called the Jawbone Prime, I think. But you'll see a little thing if you go to Amazon that says there's a newer model. Don't get that, because it doesn't sound as good. The battery life isn't as good, and its performance. I'm sorry, Jawbone, because I love you guys and you've always had great products. This one didn't hold up, because I did get one. I tried to work with them, tried software patches, tried all kind of crazy things, and it just didn't happen. Then I got another one, same thing, and that's pretty much what all the reviews have said. So this is the Jawbone era. This is the one you want. It once you learn how to fit it into your ear, and that just takes maybe 2 or 3 tries, it stays there. Battery life is probably about 3.5 hours of talk time. It'll stand by a lot longer than that. But this is another one of those things I use every single day. And so get it, and please be safe. Any other Bluetooth users here? Earpiece users, guys?
Not for me.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. Then
I don't get out enough.
well, you can use it at home, Michael, if it'll make you feel better. So, okay. Well, that's round one. With low tech and high tech both. John, take us into round two.
Round two. I'm glad you mentioned Bluetooth, Chuck, because this is a Bluetooth device. So most of us have these wonderful iPhone and iPad, or even Android, if you will, cameras, right? And okay, I'm not hearing you guys right now. Hopefully that'll come back.
Here.
We're here.
There we go. Okay, so the cameras are wonderful, but what if you want to take a picture, but you're not holding the camera? How do you do this? Now, for those of us that, remember the old school cameras, they would actually have a remote cable. You would actually sometimes screw into the camera, and then it was a mechanical button, and you would remotely do a snap. Now, of course, your iPhone or iPad or Android device doesn't have that, but it has something. Yep, you can guess, Bluetooth. So how do you use Bluetooth to take a picture? Well, what you do is you get this device from Square Jellyfish, and they make 2 of them. One is called the Jelly Remote, and one is called the Jelly Flashlight Remote. So they are both remotes that allow you, if you're in the camera on your device, again, it's both iPhone and Android, they have a take a photo button. So you can hold this. It's very small. I'm not sure what it is the size of, what I could compare it to. Maybe a snack. I don't know. We'll link to it. But they have 2 of them. So one of them has a photo button, and then it also has buttons where you can do fast forward, rewind, play, and pause if you happen to be in a music player. So that's kind of an interesting twist. And then the other one they call the Jelly Flashlight Remote. And that is a little different in that it has a button that one lets you take a picture. The other turns on a little LED flashlight that is in the device, because sometimes when you're in the dark, the cameras on a lot of devices don't do that great. So this has a little flashlight to help light things up. So maybe you don't have to use the flash on your devices, because a lot of times I find that that's not very satisfactory. So 2 devices from these guys. They also make tripods. I think I saw on the list of things, there were at least 1 or 2 tripods for devices. These guys make those as well, and I have some of those, and they're very nice. But if you want to do selfies or groupies or whatever, these are cool. I think they're about they retail either one for about $40, and they use Bluetooth, and I'm sticking to it.
John, yeah, you're right. The earlier juries picked some of the Square Jellyfish stuff. They make really nice products. They are not overpriced. There's those kind of things that are not super flashy, but they're just really, really useful. And so I think that you're right. That I have not heard of these. I've got to go and check those out, because $40 for a wireless remote seems like a pretty good deal.
Yeah, since they also, depending on what you pick, they do something else as well. I particularly like, the Jelly Remote. I think that's really neat that it also does music control. So remotely, so if you're bopping around and running a party or something like that, who has time to go back to their iPhone or iPad or whatever to change what music you're playing. Well, you just use this thing, and as long as you're in Bluetooth range, you're good to go. I think that's pretty neat too.
Yeah, nice pick. Nice pick. Okay, so Mark, round 2.
Okay, my round 2. So my pick is also very low, very, very, very low tech in some ways, but very sophisticated in others. And what it is a site called Giant Microbes. And what you can do there is, they make dolls of different viruses, different bacteria.
I've seen those.
Yes, yes. So this is a great way if you have a small child or niece or nephew. You want to try to get them maybe interested in science. Maybe they've been hearing a lot about Ebola and wondering what is Ebola. Well, they have a little doll of in the shape of an Ebola virus with a cute little eye. It's
adorable.
How adorable!
And you can give it to them. It's a great way maybe to provoke their interest, in science, or certainly microbiology.
Wow. Michael,
didn't see that coming either.
I did not. Michael, I think your iPad pillow has been overshadowed by the virus pillows.
That's truly a wonderful thing, and I know many people I would like to give one to.
Giant
who would appreciate it.
Now, Mark, I stumbled across this company. I'll tell you how I stumbled across them. They were in the local paper because they happen to be located. I was just there this afternoon. They're in Stamford, Connecticut.
Really?
They're in Connecticut. This is a Connecticut company, or they're located in Connecticut. I'm so proud that we have a company that makes giant viruses. And yeah, it was funny because the local patch paper actually said, would you buy a giant Ebola virus as a gift for someone? And I'm like, sure, why not?
Sure, it's not just Ebola. You want Ebola,
it.
Anthrax, herpes, HIV. It runs the whole gamut. Picornaviruses. Everything that's out there.
Wow. So happy holidays to everyone. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Michael, help me quick.
Well, I'm going to go with something that's totally non-digital and it's totally analog, and it's something that I've loved and had one for years. In fact, I've had several. I love fountain pens. I mean, I spend most of my day on the keyboard, but sometimes I'd like to actually put ink on paper. And the fountain pen that I like, and I've carried around for years, is the Namiki Vanishing Point. It's a fountain pen, but you don't unscrew it. It's actually a retractable fountain pen. Let me see if I can present it in such a way so you can see it. The point retracts or not. So you can carry it in your pocket. It doesn't leak. It's always the point is up. You pull it out, press the button. It's like a ballpoint pen. It's a fountain pen. And you can get it at Amazon. They're not cheap. Good fountain pens never are.
No.
It's about $130. Which is about right for this sort of pen. And I've had several, and I use them all the time.
Are you one of those, Michael, that does like to go back and do it analog or on a regular basis?
Sometimes I just like to, write a note or something. But I've just loved pens. My grandfather ran a print shop. I've lived in stationery stores most of my life, off and on.
Hard. Yes.
I mean, I just love that sort of stuff. And so when I first saw this retractable fountain pen, I said, gimme. Shut up and take my money.
Yeah. So I like you. I have a Mont Blanc, gold tip pen, fountain pen. And, if you get, there's a lot of bad paper out there because stationery quality has just gone downhill. Yeah. But if you get really good paper, there's nothing nicer than the way it writes and glides. Yes. Nowadays, it seems the best experience I get is signing my name when I write out a check, which I have to do once a month because, despite living in San Jose, capital of Silicon Valley, the city government's payment system is horrible. And, I end up having to write a check to them for trash collection just because if I use her online, I keep it's always late and it never works, and I keep getting stung for late fees. So once a month, I have the pleasure of signing my name and writing to City of San Jose trash.
I just love pens, and this is a good one. Yeah. Mont Blanc.
Do you do much writing apart from your business writing? Do you much writing longhand?
I do some. Ordinarily, if I'm going to be composing something creative, I will do it on a keyboard, but I'll often start with handwritten notes, scribbles. And those who know me know that I am maybe the world's worst cartoonist, but a lot of my world's worst cartoons start off as paper sketches, often on a placemat in a restaurant.
Right.
And then they'll eventually end up, in Pixelmator, with a graphics tablet, and editing effects and like that. But they start off as a sketch on paper.
Cool.
Very nice. Very nice. You know what? I think I'll go analog too.
It's a trend.
Now I don't have the actual item, but I have the box. So I'm going to try to show you this. And of course, then I'll do something. But this, I'm blocking the mic. This is a shelf for the top of your flat screen TV. Now let me see if I can have this make sense to you. It sits obviously horizontal. This part does, with a little lip over the front of your TV. And then it's got these two extenders down in back, and then a piece that goes through with a big rubber end on it. You screw that in, and it pushes into the back of the TV, and it basically creates a shelf. Why would you want something like this? Well, there are a couple reasons. First of all, if you have a center channel speaker, the perfect place for it, obviously, is right in the center of the TV. Most of us would put it below. But the trouble now with so many of the flat screens is there's really not a lot of space below. You end up with any decent sized speaker, it blocks part of the picture. With this, you can put it up above your screen, right in the center, perfectly. Any cables come down behind and are completely hidden. But more importantly, you can also put other devices with it. This will safely hold up to about 20 pounds. So you can put an Apple TV up there if you want. And again, same thing. The Apple TV will sit up there. All the cables are down behind the TV, so they're automatically hidden. You have no cable clutter. It's surprisingly sturdy. You may have walked by these in department stores or big box stores or whatever and seen them and think, gee, really? But I have to tell you, I've got a couple of them here on different flat screens, and I absolutely love it because it takes away all the clutter and hides it behind the TV. It puts anything that needs to be hit by a remote right up there where you're looking at it, and it's actually attractive. If you're looking straight on, you barely even notice that there's anything there. Sorry.
Where do you buy it?
You can get it on Amazon. It's called a center stage, center channel shelf speaker. This one's about 30 inches wide. You can get them narrower if you want, and this is about $80. So,
when you put a speaker on it, do you have a problem with sometimes resonance, where if the speaker it's just the right tone, everything buzzes, or does it have a way of dampen that?
Great question. The lip, the front lip, has a rubber insert, and then the shelf itself has a rubber piece that goes on it. So you get no resonance, no vibration, no anything. So yeah, that's a really great question, because I had to look in the box and find the rubber piece that went on top, because before it was just you're sitting basically on metal, and that's not good. But they've already thought of that and provided what you want. So, yeah, it sounds like a strange pick, but it saves some space, and it's just a very functional analog kind of thing. So, yeah, center channel, center stage, center channel speaker shelf, and I'll have links in the show notes. Put that over there. So that's round 2.
Excellent.
We went from Bluetooth to a virus to, well, never mind. This edition of MacVoices is sponsored by Casper, a better mattress for a better night's sleep. To find out more, try one for 100 days and get a $50 discount. Visit casper.com/MacVoices. I'm excited to welcome Casper as a brand new first-time sponsor of MacVoices. Now, you might think that it's a little unusual to have a mattress manufacturer as a sponsor of a tech show, but it makes perfect sense. Here's why. I bet that you don't get enough sleep. Me neither. Just too many deadlines, too many projects, just too much stuff running laps in my brain no matter what time I go to bed. So when I do get to sleep, I need to actually sleep, not toss and turn fighting a mattress that doesn't fit, isn't comfortable, or is too hot. And I certainly don't need to get out of bed in the morning stiff and sore because the mattress didn't offer the support it should. Been there, done that, not going to do it again. Second, I like technology, just like you do. The folks at Casper are like us, and they describe their mattresses as obsessively engineered. Does that sound like a certain company we all know and love? It does to me. I want obsessive engineers working on pretty much anything that's important in my life. Casper says I spend a third of my life on my mattress. In my mind, that makes it very important. This isn't just any old mattress, though. Casper has combined two different mattress technologies that I bet you're familiar with, latex foam and memory foam, to create what might be the perfect mattress. You don't sink in too much, and you don't bounce too much. I certainly don't want to sleep on something that wraps around me so I can't move, or on a trampoline either. Casper strikes the balance. The interesting thing is that while Casper makes a premium mattress, you don't pay a premium price. At $500 for a twin and $950 for a king, you're paying quite a bit less than I paid for the last two mattresses I bought at a specialty store. And those didn't come with a 100-day trial period. I only had a few minutes to make up my mind when I bought those, let alone over 3 months. And in the unlikely event that the Casper mattress doesn't fit your style, no problem. Returns are painless. In upcoming spots, I'll be telling you about my experiences with my Casper mattress, but the spoiler is, I love it. Here it is, just waiting to be unboxed and make its way to the bed. You'll see the grand opening next time. If you're a MacVoices viewer or listener and want to get the sleep you need and deserve, you can get $50 off an American-made Casper mattress of any size by visiting casper.com/MacVoices and using the discount code MacVoices when you order. That helps support MacVoices and gets you a great deal on a great mattress. Get a Casper and get a better night's sleep. Casper.com/MacVoices to learn more, and the coupon code MacVoices to get $50 off your very own Casper mattress. Thanks to Casper for being a new sponsor of MacVoices. Round three. John, how about you kick us off with round three with something really exciting?
Really exciting?
Really exciting.
Well, I think this is exciting. All right. So it's another thing that it's another device that uses Bluetooth, but rather than it being a control, now we all love Find My iPhone or Find My iPad or Find My whatever because, we're all getting along in years and losing stuff right and left. I mean, it's terrible. I don't remember where I don't remember where anything is. No. Now, we have Find My iPhone, but how do you find other things? Wouldn't it be great if there was a device that maybe used Bluetooth, for example, that would help you find things? And I have a device that does this. So one, they gave me one. So they have a number of versions. So the company or the device is called Tracker, Trackr. And they make a few of them. So the first one that I was made aware of and they gave me to try out is called the Tracker Wallet. And as the name implies, it's wallet-sized. You can actually put it in your wallet and then you combine it with a piece of software that you run on your iOS device and I believe also your Android device. And then it does a clever combination. So one, if it's within range and you're running the program and you say, hey, can you make some noise and tell me where you're at? It will. So, for finding your wallet, that's great. They have another one called the Tracker Sticker, which is a different form factor. So rather than being a thin kind of wallet-sized thing, it's just a little sticker. And that's meant more for like keys and stuff like that. Similar, and these devices are in the 20. The more you buy, the more you save. But they're in the like $25 range per. But if you buy more, but then here's the clever part. So what they've been doing a very ambitious program here. Is that if you choose to do so, you can make your device part of their I'll call it a mesh network. In that if you allow it, if another tracker device that doesn't happen to be yours comes near you, it'll alert the owner if they're searching for something. So you see where we're going with this? Again, it's pretty ambitious. So say, Chuck, you were in my neighborhood, you lost your keys and you were looking for them. Well, if you went near me running their software on my device, it would alert you saying, hey, your thing is, because it's combining the Bluetooth with the GPS of the phone. So it geotags, where it last saw it. So I think that's just a totally cool concept.
Yeah.
And they had a program, they were giving them away. I think they've ended the program, and but they were giving a lot of these away to try to create this nationwide network. And the last show I was at, where I was talking with their big cheese, and he actually showed me that there was someone who actually had a location event happen like right down the street from me. So one thing, they were giving these away to try to get critical mass. The other thing, right now I'm
so these are all Bluetooth, or do they do anything in Wi-Fi?
No, what they're doing is, so they're combining Bluetooth. So the app that you run uses Bluetooth to communicate with the device, but then it also combines it with the GPS of your phone to give you the location that it was last seen. So again, like I described, if I choose to opt into their mesh network, and then my device happens to see your tag, it'll tell you and say, oh, okay, well, I saw your thing that you lost near John's house. And it could be anything. It could be your pet, could be your suitcase, so whatever you decide to apply this to. So I think this is just a really novel concept. I mean, the latest one that they gave me, so I have the wallet one, and I actually put it in my car so I can find my car. So if I forget where I parked it. But the other one, I'm going to put on my keychain, because sometimes I lose my keys. In the past, I had a device that was, clap, clap, and it would find my keys. But then that got annoying because all my friends learned, oh, clap, clap, and John's keys will, beep. And it's like, yeah, stop it.
Okay.
So, very clever device, pretty inexpensive, a very novel combination of Bluetooth and the GPS of your phone and the mesh network.
Very interesting. Very interesting. That's definitely different. Definitely different. Okay. Mark, round 3.
Round 3. So we go in an interesting direction. We go back more to high tech, and even better, the price is free. So what I'm going to recommend is, I saw on sort of the show notes that somebody else had recommended lynda.com, so that preempted me from doing it. But most interestingly, there is a site on Lynda called Pixel Playground, hosted by Bert Monroy. And Bert Monroy, for those who are not familiar with him, he's a Photoshop guru. He started using Photoshop. He wrote a book about Photoshop even before Adobe acquired it. So he's been involved in Photoshop since the very, 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 very beginning. And a lot of the Mac people listening probably know him because they may have seen him at some of the events. Here in the Bay Area, I forget exactly the proper name, but the group in Santa Rosa that has their annual Mac festival, Bert has talked there. Bert's been a frequent guest on some of the podcasts that used to be on Tech TV and whatnot. A couple of years ago, he unveiled a piece called Times Square, which if you printed it out, it's 25 feet wide and 5 feet tall. And it has an enormous detail. It's inspired by Times Square in New York. And Bert is very passionate about passing on his knowledge and expertise. So what he does with the Pixel Playground is, it's basically content that will go into a Lynda course. One Lynda course episode. But the agreement he's made with them is it's free for a week. So if you go there, you can get a tremendous mastercraft. Just looking at how this expert thinks and how he creates things. I know I've seen him present at Photoshop World. I don't know if John has seen it, but he makes these beautiful things that sound so very simple, and you just sit there and he's just using the tool. He's on a completely different dimension than the way other people think and act. So I think that's a great thing. One way to maybe appreciate why would you pay attention to yet another, Photoshop book? Isn't there enough of training and instruction out there? Well, the thing about Bert is, he is creating all these paintings or murals. He's inspired by the real world, and he does everything and makes it look photorealistic. And he at an Adobe conference in earlier this year in early October introduced a new work called Amsterdam Mist, and it's inspired by this classic view of up the canals of Amsterdam, and he's using viewing technology with a company I'm associated with, where if you use an iPad or a mouse on your on your Mac, what you're able to do is, move and magnify the image. And as you see this happening, you can see the fog dissipate. So things go in that are really foggy, the fog dissipates and you can start to see bicycles or license plates or people, or the leaves of the tree or the door of the hotel. It's really, fascinating. And he's had a number of, series on the Pixel Playground, as well as in his Lynda courses, where he talks about how he's created this work. So I recommend go to lynda.com. It's off. You can link it off the homepage, and you can see each episode, each week, a free lesson in Photoshop. So this is probably great as a recommendation for students, people for whom maybe the $25 a month Lynda fee might be a little bit beyond their means. Here's another way they can get free education from a master in terms of how to create visual arts.
Wow, that's a great pick, and I had no idea about that. And I've heard Bert speak. I've seen his work, and if you haven't, folks, it's just insane the level of detail that he's zooming in at 400 and 500 and 600%. Doing things that by the time he zooms back out, you can barely see, but it's one of those things where he knows it's there, and if you look hard enough, you do. But yeah, I had no idea he was doing anything like that, and definitely not free. So, wow, great pick.
That's great. And other things, if you go to his site, you can look and you can see, his Times Square image as well as Damon's image at a train station in Chicago that also are available using this, picture so-called viewing technology, where you can move in and magnify. And Bert, says he puts a lot of Easter eggs in his images. In Times Square, can move around and you can see Bert, present day Bert with his back to the audience taking a picture, or you can find him. He's in a cab driver for when he drove a cab for a couple months after he left the Marines before he got his first art job. You can find other well-known people in the Adobe world, Terry White, Leo Laporte's there, as well as you can go back and just see, if you're familiar with that iconic view of Times Square, you have the apartment buildings in back. You can go and look in each window as, just the amount of detail. The reason it probably took him 4.5 years to do this is the amount of detail is amazing. You can see each window. A lot of them are dark, but the ones that have lights on, they're not all copies of the same. It's sometimes they have people eating, sitting, watching TV, looking down, back to the audience with a cell phone. I mean, it's just, tremendous amount of detail that was, lovingly created and rendered. So I recommend, for, interest and inspiration, go to www.bertmonroy.com, explore the works. If you want to learn how he creates them, then go to see the Pixel Playground each week on lynda.com.
Very nice. Good pick. Good pick. Michael, round 3.
Well, this time I'm actually going to go digital with something that's free. I wrote about this for Tidbits a few months ago, and it's something I really love. There's this guy named Bill Atkinson. You may have heard of him. He kind of invented Quick Draw on the Mac way back when. Really fine photographer, and his latest thing is an app for iOS, iPad, or iPhone called PhotoCard. And it's free, and it's sort of a one-trick pony that has a really fantastic trick. Basically, it takes you can take any picture that you have on your phone, make it into a postcard, address it, write stuff on it, and send it. And you can either send it as email, which means it takes the place of the long missing iCards that Apple used to provide. Remember iCards? back in the before mobile me. Anyway, he's a really high quality photographer, so he's paid an incredible amount of attention to just how good pictures can look when you present them properly. So, like I said, you can send it through email, but if you create an account on his site and then transfer money from PayPal or your credit card, like $15, $20, you can store that as a bank to use it to send printed postcards. And they'll cost about $2 a piece to send anywhere in the United States, $3 if you're going overseas. It prints digital stamps on them. It's printed on printers that he's hand-tuned to make look good, really good. And what the person gets at the other end is a 5x8 laminated, high-quality printed postcard with your own custom stamp if you want, with your own custom picture on the stamp that is regular post office approved stamp. It has all the right barcodes and everything. And it's just a really slick, really nice, really easy to use piece of work. And for the holiday season, it's perfect because if you've got a whole bunch of people on your card mailing list, you can send them the family Christmas card, and to a lot of them, you can just send the email and they'll be perfectly happy with that. But for your special relatives or friends, you can send them the actual keepsake card itself, and within a week, they'll get that beautifully printed card from you. So this is one of my favorite things, and I love it.
Wow.
Yeah, and he does a great job. But I also think that he makes available some of his own photography.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If you get PhotoCard, you get a stock of hundreds of pictures, nature pictures that he's taken. Anything from, the striations in a beautifully polished piece of rock to waterfalls, to sunsets, to animals, to rocks, to what have you. I mean, it's just a lovely collection to have in and of itself. And you can use those as cards, too. I use this when I go on vacation because I can take a snap, send a postcard right from where I am with the custom picture I've got. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. That got released. I have a little story here. So I remember him talking about this. I did not know who he was. So it was a couple of years ago at Macworld. May it rest in peace, or maybe it'll come back. But I was in the speakers lounge, and that's where all the cool kids are. And I heard this guy talking. And he was saying, yeah, me and Steve did this, me and Steve did that. And he was throwing names right and left. And I'm like, who is this blowhard? And so I, start typing in, into my computer and trying to find pictures. And the more I heard him talk, I'm like, oh my gosh,
this is the guy who made Hypercard.
That's like, he's like a Mac god. It's like, but and then he was mentioning this. I think it was 2-3 years ago. He was mentioning that this was one of his concepts that he really wanted to roll out, and it's awesome to hear that it's made it that it's successful.
Been doing it for a few years, and he's just been upgrading it regularly, quietly, and beautifully. It's just a nice piece of iPhone software.
Yeah.
Sorry, how much does it cost
to do, and no more? What?
Sorry, what was the pricing on having it printed?
It's roughly $2. The price varies because what you do is you buy credits.
Okay.
And the more credits you buy at a time, the less they cost per credit. Like if you spend $20 on credits, you get more credits than if you spent 10. Proportionally, like if you spend $10, you may get like 12 credits. If you spend $20, you might get 30 credits, something like that. Sure. So the price does vary, but it's roughly $2 a postcard in the United States, give or take, depending on how many credits you bought at a given time.
And when you start thinking about the actual postage that it takes to mail them, then it becomes an even better deal. If you go out,
get a card printed and then stick your own postage on it and put it in, do whatever you got to do, it's going to cost about the same, and the quality of pictures is extraordinary.
Yeah. I'm really glad you brought that to our attention, because it's one of those that if you don't use it, you sort of slips to the back of your mind, and it should be frontmost, especially at this time of year when you do. It's probably the one time you do send cards more than any other. So good pick, real good pick. Okay, so I'm going to go back to techie. Everybody talks about ways to expand their portable devices, and especially your MacBooks, and notably the MacBook Air. The one thing about the MacBook Air is it just doesn't come with a lot of storage. So I'm going to tell you that you should go and get the Seagate. Trying to get now it's going to be difficult. It's a Seagate Backup Plus Slim. There we go. hard drive. Okay, so it's a spinning drive. It's a 2.5 drive. This particular one is a 2 terabyte, and it goes for, let's see, about $80, I believe, just the drive. Now,
80.
Okay, but
Oh my God.
it's USB 3. Okay, but the great thing about this is that you want to buy it with this. Right, this is a little sled for it. This is Thunderbolt. All right, so now you play, and of course, you know, they're interchangeable, so you can buy 3 of the drives in one sled, slide them in. Now I've got 2 terabytes of Thunderbolt speed to plug in to my MacBook Air anywhere I go, and it is fast, and it doesn't get terribly warm. I love the fact that with the sled, you know, I've got USB 3 if I want to use it, but I've got Thunderbolt right there just as well.
Is it bus powered?
It's all bus powered, everything. So total package here, the sled is about $140. The 2 terabyte is about $80. So for, what is that? $220, you've got 2 terabytes of Thunderbolt. And of course, you know, fast. You can get a longer, this particular one I have with a long Thunderbolt cable, but you can get short Thunderbolt cables that don't take up as much room in your pack. So now you've got a massive amount of storage. You've got a massive amount of fast storage too. It's not redundant storage like the Drobo Mini or anything like that, but you know, not everything has to be backed up all the time. So if you are taking a bunch of pictures, or if you just want to take a whole lot of data with you and get it on and off fast, this is the one you want. And again, it's the Seagate Backup Plus Slim and the Seagate Backup Plus portable Thunderbolt adapter for it.
Wow. So just to confirm, the 2 terabyte drive is $80?
Yeah, I think I've got that right. I think I looked up that right.
Yeah,
of course.
I mean,
that sounds fantastic for amateur videographers.
Yeah, exactly. And I've edited video off of it, and you know, it's not my Drobo 5D, but it's you know, quite nice if you're on the road and you have something like that you want to do. And
wow.
You know, the Thunderbolt is it. So, and Mark, now you've got me doubting my $80 note, but it's somewhere in that range. And of course, I'll have links in the show notes. So,
yeah, because 80, that would be, it could be maybe bought at a really great deal. But you know, 80 sounds more like it might be 1 terabyte.
Yeah,
you know,
you may be right. I may have looked at the wrong page, but
still, you know, you buy the adapter and then you just, you know, get the other playing decks and, you know, you're set to go.
Well, the me from 1990 is looking at that thing and going, "Ooh, that's big magic."
Yeah. Well, you know, even 1 terabyte. I mean, you know, unless you're just doing a ridiculous amount of video, given the fact that you're taking it with you, you know, it's a pretty nice device.
To give you an idea, a perspective on in terms of you doing video, back in the late 90s, I worked at a company that rented storage to film production companies, digital storage. They were called Runway Nonlinear, and they rented out huge disc packs for people to take on the road. And at that time, if somebody wanted as much as half a terabyte, that would be like considered a huge order. And then we're talking major motion picture productions. We're not talking about, you know, you and me and Shelley out in the backyard, you know, with the dog and the camera. We're talking, you know, hundreds of people on location. And so, yeah, so 1 terabyte in a little tiny package.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, the storage has, you know, everyone knows Moore's law for chips. In storage, there's a thing called Kreider's law, and Kreider was a scientist at Seagate. You know, so it's just you know, fascinating, because right now probably people have 500 gigabytes, half a terabyte of stuff in their browser cache waiting to be purged.
All those cookies, God.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is someone told me, I was just at a show, and to kind of follow up on that, I think it was Samsung, who is one of the, they not only make memory chips, but they make SSDs, and they were describing a relatively new technology. And Mark, it sounds like you may have heard of this, but it was kind of, I'll equate it to a point in time when they stacked memory chips on top of one another. This is how the guy described it to me, is that they're kind of going three-dimensional.
Vertical.
In
yep.
Yes, in that they're
stacking.
multiplying. So it's kind of Moore's. Well, the thing is, they're increasing the storage capacity by adding another dimension, if you will. Because I guess the SSDs, as far as the speed and stuff, they kind of, or at some point, you get where you can't make the die any smaller. I guess that's how they increase storage right now. So they're like, well, why don't we think about it in a different way?
Exactly. Add more layers, add more storage, and
right.
SSDs. There's still a lot of growth and room to come. It would probably never, if ever, catch up to magnetic disks in terms of costs per bit. But with devices like the one Chuck just recommended, you can have a very lightweight flash-based computer, and then you can supplement with cheap and deep bulk storage. So it's a very exciting time that we're in.
No question.
Absolutely.
Guys, round 4 if we have time. Everybody okay on time?
I'm okay.
I'm good.
I don't have any good picks left, but let's go and see what we have.
All right. Sounds good.
I think I got a great pick. So Chuck.
Go for it.
And the rest of the crowd here. So this is, I like how we dovetail off of each other here sometimes. So this has to do with hard drives, but this is going in the other direction. So how many of you have a stack of hard drives or know somebody that has a stack of hard drives sitting around that aren't really doing anything? Okay, Chuck, you looked. What do you do with all of those? And actually, I've run into a situation where so I'm going to sneak in 2 products here, but they're closely related here. So for the geek in your life who has all these hard drives kicking around somewhere and has no idea what to do with them, I'm going to give you 2 products here. So one, and I just ordered this, so this is an updated version of what I had in the past, but it is the newer tech USB universal drive adapter. What is it? You guys may have used this. If you haven't, it's
toaster,
awesome.
Right?
It is basically, on one end it's USB, and now it's USB 3 because now I have a USB 3 computer that I recently purchased. Hooray for me. But on the other end, it has all of the connectors for all of the modern hard drive. It has IDE, ATA, ATA-API, SATA, and all that stuff. It's a temporary solution, though. So say you need to pull a hard drive. Like the reason I just got another one here is my TiVo hard drive, which is a WD, not that I really blame them, but my TiVo hard drive that I just replaced a year ago is dying. And I need to clone it to a replacement that WD just shipped me, and it's actually happening right now. One of them is a USB 3, one is a USB 2. It doesn't really matter because the drives are fairly slow, but I wanted to get the latest. So this is a great product for people that have drives sitting around and need to access them temporarily. Again, it's not a case. Well, I'm going to talk about that shortly, but it's an adapter cable. USB on one side, various popular connectors on the other. Great for the geek in your life that needs to pull data off of a drive on a temporary basis. And then the second thing I want to mention, because I wanted to get some of these, because I have a bunch of 2.5-inch drives. Like I just ordered a new MacBook Pro, and it had a piece of garbage or a relatively low-performing 2.5-inch drive in there. I'm like, well, that's coming out immediately, and I put the Momentous XT from my other machine into that. Well, now I have that drive, and then I got a 1 terabyte. So I have all these 2.5-inch drives. What do I do with them? I mean, they're just sitting around and, kind of a mess. Why don't I get a case for them? And OWC, Mac Sales, kind of the same thing, makes these awesome little cases. So I have some of their USB 2 cases. So it's basically the size of a 2.5-inch drive. Their USB 2 cases are about $15. But their USB 3 cases, again, now that I have USB 3, $25. So I ordered 2 of the USB 3 cases because also what I want to do is I want to build my own RAID. And you need more than one drive to do that. And now that I have 2 USB 3 ports and 2 USB 3 cases on the way with these 2.5-inch drives that I'm not using anyways, why the heck not play around with it? So, awesome stuff for people that have all these drives kicking around, no matter what size they are, and just want to do something with them, except have them be an eyesore.
Right. So I have
a private... That's the USB 2 one that I have, or it looks like the USB 2.
That's right. This is the USB 2. Yeah, I have it. I've used this for backing up, just this is sort of carbon copy cloner or super duper, which is the one I use now. Just bootable backup, just the guts of the system, just in case. I have all sorts of other things, I'm sure, as we all do, to protect all the other stuff, because it would be horrible if we lost that tune that we paid 69 cents for 5 years ago.
I gotta put in a plug for that too. Now that you mention it, though, I'm sorry. I'm gonna do 3 things, but I just got the latest upgrade of Carbon Copy Cloner, and I'm pretty happy with it. I got the upgrade pricing, I think $20. If you're gonna get one of these cases, folks, if you have an extra drive, get Carbon Copy Cloner or Super Duper or anything, and make a backup, for goodness sake. I can't tell you the number of times we have people on our show, Mackie Gab, saying, "Oh, I lost everything and I don't have a backup." It's like, why don't you? So if you're listening to the show and you don't have a backup, stop listening now and get a drive and make a backup. Well, I don't know how you feel about that, Chuck.
Finish listening to the show
Finish
and then
listening,
make a backup.
then get yourself a backup drive and a program like Carbon Copy Cloner and make a backup of your stuff, because it's not if you're going to lose your data, it's when you're going to lose your data, or when your drive is going to roll over and die. You know when it's going to happen? When you least expect it and when it's most inconvenient. So please, everybody make a backup.
Yep. Good pick.
Not just one backup. That's the other thing, and then I'll move on. Don't make just one backup, because one backup, that one's going to fail. Make 2 or 3. Maybe use a sync service, Dropbox, whatever, Transporter, something like that. Make multiple backups. You'll be glad you listened to me and us.
Agreed.
When the time comes.
Agreed. Mark, since you held up the drive, are you doing a drive related thing, or are you going to come at us with another pillow?
Oh no! Actually, I have a storage related idea, and I also had one that I hope we have time to do a final round, because it's just something good to do good for other people. The storage related idea I had is Western Digital. There's 6 terabyte RAID drives.
Whew. 6
terabytes for about they launched this summer about $300. They're now selling at I took it today. It's now selling for $270 in Amazon. So they've gone down like 10% in about 2.5-3 months. And these are RAID drives, so they spin at a little reduced RPM. So they're really great for bulk storage. If you're doing high performance editing, certainly anything with video, or maybe if you're doing a lot of large photo work, they might not be ideal. But if you're backing up your files and your tax returns and your music collection and all the videos of 24 that you ripped, and to get them on disk so that they're easy to watch and protected against damage to the CDs and DVDs, etc. They're great. And you can put them in, the sort of toaster solution John was talking about. I have 3 of them in a Drobo, and I've consolidated just John's idea of have lots of backups. I just had too many Drobo boxes around, so I've decommissioned 2 by consolidating everything into this one system, and hopefully we'll go forward and get another one to mirror this, and we can get another box, with the 8-bay systems, kick it to the curb and consolidate and just free up more workspace, and have less stuff in our life, physical stuff.
Mark, aren't the Reds the ones they designate or suggest for the NAS solutions?
Yes, they are. They have the way they differentiate between those and the green drives is in RAID systems. If a drive is slow in returning, the RAID controller may think, oh, there's a problem with the drive. And what these things will do is instead of just waiting and waiting and waiting, if they can't read it, it will send a message back saying, okay, timeout. I'm not done yet. And then either the RAID controller, depending on the controller, it may issue another request, or it may say, okay, well, I have it from all the other pieces. You go do your thing, and I'll watch you to see if you're starting to fail, or if this is just a one-time alpha particle transient, non-reproducible event.
Good pick.
But they're really great. I mean, if you think about it, for storage, and I have it in a Drobo that's set for to protect against 2 hard drive failures. because you want to protect that song you paid 69 cents for, right? As well as everything else that we all have lots of digital stuff in our life, so you can't be. I agree with John, and I listening to his show, and it's heartbreaking when people just. When they said, I was just about to, or I was getting ready to order this, and by then it's too late. It's just protect your data now, because hard drives will fail.
Yeah, agreed.
And I'll say Apple, the thing is, they do a better job than most. I think when you set up most Macs now, if they see another drive somewhere, I believe they'll say, hey, by the way, do you want to use this for Time Machine?
Yes,
yeah.
They do.
They try to explain it to the user, and
they're very proactive about it, and I think that's nice.
And that's a really interesting point. It's because a lot of times I'll look at it as no, I don't want to use it. I'm busy. Just format the drive. But it is a proactive thing to try to remind you that you should have a backup, and so it gives you every opportunity to create one.
Right. For every Chuck Joiner in the world, there's hundreds of people like my mother who just want a backup.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Michael, round 4.
I hate to fly. I've always hated to fly. And one of the things I've hated about flying for years is the low frequency subsonic you get when you're sitting in the plane for all those hours. It just creates a feeling of anxiety. And years ago, somebody gave me, as a gift, an expensive gift, some Bose Quiet Comfort over-the-ear cans that did noise canceling. And it was very cool, and it reduced my anxiety about flying 1,000%. I still hate it, but I don't hate it nearly as much. Well, those eventually broke after years of service and banging them around, and I got myself a successor. And this is the successor. It's about this big, and it's the Bose Quiet Comfort acoustic noise canceling earbuds. And they fit in the ear. They've got these little silicone inserts that are designed so that they'll actually wedge themselves nice in your ear and won't fall out. You can really shake your head, and they just stay in there. The cable has a nice little clip, so you can clip it onto your shirt, so there's a little bit of slack between that and the earbud itself. It's got a little power pack instead of the AAA battery that the old headphone cans had, with a little slot here so you can charge it off of any USB drive or device that has a port that delivers power.
The belt.
Pretty much the belt, and it's good for like 16 hours of playback and noise canceling. And I wear these when I walk around the neighborhood, if I'm walking down to the store, or something like that, or just taking a stroll down to the bluffs that overlook the Pacific because I live in the ugliest neighborhood in the world. But this, lets me have my own soundtrack as I go, and they're just delightful. They're much nicer than the Apple earbuds. They aren't cheap. They're around $300, but if you can afford them or afford them to give away to a very dear loved one, it's a lovely gift. The gift of silence.
So are they similar? Because I think I had some of those Bose, headphones, kind of like I'm wearing now. Though what I'm wearing now are not Bose. I think they're JBLs. I can't tell. I'm not going to look right now. But so are they the similar technology? In that I assume they are. So
yes.
So that's a power pack. So they're kind of sampling the noise and I guess generating what
I don't know if
you
can see it. Let me try to hold it up. You can see that little grid there. It's got a little microphone on the back of the bud that picks up the ambient sound, and that's what it uses to create the noise canceling. Plus, it's an in-ear phone, so it blocks out extraneous noise that way as well.
All right, so it's generating, I guess, what you could call reverse noise, if you will, and that it's sampling the noise and then generating something that counters that. So what you hear, in theory, is just what you should be hearing without the
what actually happens
roaring.
If it's a regular sustained sound, especially in the lower frequencies, it cancels it out completely. Yeah. Transients tend to come through, although not nearly as loud. I have this daycare center in the church across behind from where I live. And you have no idea how loudly 3-year-olds can shriek.
I have a neighbor with 5 children. Yes,
this manages to keep most of that.
Especially young girls. Young girls can generate the most piercing
oh my goodness!
screams
Yes.
ever.
So, Michael, what was the name again?
These are the Bose Quiet Comfort 20i acoustic noise canceling headphones.
Okay, because I have a plane flight coming up, transcontinental in December, and I always hate those things. And the bigger Bose, their size was always a turnoff to me. So these might be really interesting. And where do you get them?
You can actually get them on Amazon. If you get the 20i, like I said, those are the ones that work with the iPhone and iPad.
Okay.
So it also has that little microphone switch on it, so you can turn them on or off. It has a mode that lets you turn them off temporarily so you can engage in conversation and then switch them back on.
They're just and to take a note. So thank you.
I remember that now because I remember that the first time I think I used them on a plane, and the flight attendant came up to me and I saw her mouth moving and I didn't hear anything, and I'm like, wait a second, that's right. It's canceling. It's considering this noise, so it's canceling her out.
I hope you didn't explain it to her, John.
No, I didn't try to. I just eventually took the headphones off, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
So all it needs to say is "yes, dear," and it would be perfect.
Oh boy! Oh boy!
Yeah, we're not going to get into relationship advice.
I do like the fact that these will actually just fit into a shirt pocket.
Yes.
Unlike the cans over my head, which were good for their time, but this ain't bad.
Mm. All right, so my last pick for round 4. This is not my pick. This is similar to it. This is a GoPro. This is the GoPro Hero 3. 3 Plus that I've had now for about a year. I love it. It's a fun little camera. You can do a lot of interesting things. The quality is always amazing. These are the cameras, folks, if you're not familiar with them, that they strap on surfers and skiers, and you get all that amazing action footage. I'm not a surfer, I'm not a skier, but these are so small and unobtrusive that you can put them just about anywhere and capture really great video. The one I want to pick, though, this year is the brand new Hero Pro Black. It is brand new. It is a 4K GoPro camera, 30 frames per second. Yes, it is $500, but it's 4K 30 frames per second. I want to make sure that you understand what that means. That's like a couple years ago, that was $4,000 or $5,000 camera. Now, of course, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles, and it doesn't have the lenses, but the footage from everything that I've seen, is just amazing. You probably truly need one of the 5K IMAX to fully appreciate it. It's done a lot of enhancements to the GoPros as they are. In fact, this is one of the last generation. There's a whole new generation that tops out with the black. But I got to tell you, you can go down to I think it's $150, $175 for the bottom of the line, and then work your way up depending on what your needs are. But these are just fun little cameras. You've got a great camera probably in your iPhone 6 and all, but this is a great little supplement to it, and it's just two different kinds of cameras. So if you are into video, and especially if you want to play with things and get some just really amazing images, and of course another advantage to this, all the GoPro accessories. So you've got chest mounts, you've got helmet mounts, you can get suction cup mounts to stick on your car and drive along and get that kind of footage. There's almost nowhere that you can't put a GoPro if you really work on it. I've seen concerts now where the guitarists will mount a GoPro on the neck of their guitar, so you can see them playing, and maybe even looking right down the neck at them playing. It's just, that's the kind of diversity that this camera can deliver. So, but if you have the money, go for the Hero Black and shoot some 4K footage.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. So that's a pricey one, but we got to end on a high note, right?
On several C notes.
Yeah.
Well, then we could talk 4K TVs. I've been to. Oh, seriously? No, I've been to. They're coming down like everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Economies of scale. But man, some of the 4K TVs that I've seen. I mean, I have a 720p TV, but it looks wonderful. It's
yeah,
HD,
but putting a 4K TV on my cable company feed would be, like really.
Yeah, that's you almost have to have.
I'm happy with 720. Kind of, it's 720/1080, but for the TV I have, it's
Yeah.
It's great when I get the red box. I get, Blu-ray, and, it looks better. The 4Ks are gorgeous, but do I need it now? Again, I think it's moving. Sometimes I think things move a little too fast, or maybe I'm moving too slow. I don't know.
Well, you ultimately
do I need 4K TV?
Yes, you do, John. That's
you need the bandwidth to feed that monster, though.
That's even more important. Yes.
And actually, as you're pointing out, as you're pointing out, I don't think many, if any, cable companies are delivering 4K feeds yet, though I'm sure they will eventually. And then, the bandwidth and all that stuff. So,
that's the trick. You got to have the content. Even some of the 1080 stuff is not really being fed properly by your cable company.
Oh no!
Let alone a 4K. So
what I saw,
they tweak the compression until you've got this pixel nightmare happening in front of you.
Oh yeah, it's a mess. Here in San Jose, the over-the-air TV for watching sports, you can see the football, you can see the laces as it's spinning when it's thrown. On cable, it's pixelated. It's just it's a mess.
Yeah.
Nice brown blur you're throwing there, sir.
And the solution now, I've seen a couple of companies now that they kind of have bridge products, and that it'll take 1080 media and kind of upscale it, but it upscales it where it doesn't suck. And that I saw the results, and I'm like, okay, if I didn't know better, I'd say this is 4K content, not 1080 content. So
that's just our eyes haven't been trained on 4K content
yet.
Right. And then again, looking at the crowd here I'm looking at the crowd here, and 3 of the 4 of us have glasses. I don't know if you have contacts, Chuck, or if you just have a naturally sharp vision there. But
eagle eyes, John. Eagle eyes.
I'm going to get to the point where I don't know if I could tell the difference.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you. This was a lot of fun. A lot of great picks. A lot of things that came right out of left field that I sure didn't see coming. But and I really, Mark, I think you won with the virus pillows. I give you credit. I think that takes the cake for this one.
It's always hard to think of unique gifts to give.
What could be more unique than a virus?
Give the gift that gives you.
Give the gift of virus.
A virus doll.
Virus doll. Okay.
Let's get this straight.
Yeah. Yeah. As I recall, you're the guy last year that had some kind of what?
Oh, the video game. Yeah, Plague Inc. Yes.
Yeah, Plague. Yeah, your goal was to wipe out the population of the Earth.
Awesome.
We have to talk, Mark. We have to talk. John F. Braun from the Mac Geek Gab, thank you for being here. It was a whole lot of fun. You got to come back more often on video.
Oh, well, now that I have like I told you, Chuck, you're the second show that I've done video with. And it's not so bad. I just got to, remember not to do anything, totally embarrassing while the camera's on me. And I think I did okay, right? I didn't pick my nose or do anything.
I'll fix it in post.
Oh, thank you.
Mark, it's always fun to have you here, and we did have a little guest appearance by one of your friends, so maybe next time more.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. It's dogs are creatures of habit, and my being in the office at this time of night is against what their patterns are. So
I saw her going for the mic, though. She has good instinct. He or she. Yes. I saw her go for the mic.
Yeah.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does.
Let's see, Michael, I guess you and we're not going to say what, but you and I will be talking about another one of your projects in the not too distant future. So
that would be the Pages book, which has finally come out of pre-book into real book stage and is going into production now.
Great. Well, we'll come back and focus on that sometime soon. Good. Guys, hope you all have a great holiday season. Thanks so much for your time, and we'll see you back here again on the Mac Jury.
Happy holidays to everyone.
Folks, check out the show notes. Not only will I have links to all of the products, specifically to the products we recommended, so you can find them easily and make sure you're getting what we talked about, but also, of course, to bios of all our panelists so you can see who they are and what they do and find them and follow them wherever they want to be followed. Until the next time, I'm Chuck Joyner, and this is the Mac Jury on MacVoices. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for links, show notes, to subscribe, to connect with Chuck on Twitter, Google+, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and the MacVoices blog. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter, the MacVoices Dispatch, to stay up to date on all the latest MacVoices news from our front page or at macvoices.com/newsletter. Do more with your Apple tech by subscribing to the free MacVoices magazine on Flipboard by visiting macvoices.com/magazine. Advertising and sponsorships handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.